Hi there, Loren Crawford. Today I want to speak with you about springing forward. So we had those of us in daylight savings had our shift last week. And this shift is a good time to sort of take stock on how we're moving into spring. So spring is a wonderful time. We can think of it as the birthing time, the time where nature kind of goes into making things alive again. And then through the summer and the fall, we're living through everything. And then in the fall, winter, there's the ending. So it's a cycle of life that we find in nature. And this is the trinity of the yoga tradition as well. So we have Brahma, which is the creator, the creative force, the creative deity, if you will. And then we have the sustainer, which is Vishnu, that middle part, which is the living part, the growing part, the being part. And then we have Shiva, which is the final stage, the destruction. So this cycle continues. So our annual flow of the calendar represents these three aspects. So springing forward, what might that look like? I really recommend that you take the time to do a little bit of reflection and then make some shifts, some changes as we move forward. Some of the easiest changes we can look at, and these may be intuitive to you anyway, is shifting up diet. So we want to look at what kind of foods are we putting into the system. Our body, being part of nature, is aligned with the energies of nature. Our digestion actually gets more fortified in the winter months because the body knows it's going to be eating richer, heavier foods, those stews and rich root vegetable type foods, maybe more of the abundance of animal proteins and those sorts of things. So the body's ready and prepared to eat those foods in the winter months, but it shifts in the spring and the summer. So we don't want to be eating those same heavy foods as we move into this new energy. What does that look like? So think of the growth of spring and summer and what plants are thriving and growing. So we want to move to a lighter, easier, more readily digestible diet. So just think about that and how you can begin to shift a little bit away from the heaviness of some of those winter dishes, which keep you feeling so good, so warm and nourished, to a little bit lighter, because we know the digestion is going to get a little bit lighter itself. Those are some easy shifts. On that realm of food, think about maintaining a breakfast, eating a breakfast, and making lunch your biggest meal of the day. Because according to Ayurveda, lunch is when we have the highest sort of digestive fire available to us. So eating your largest meal for lunch and then a light meal in the evening time. The other thing that's really important is to stop snacking. Have your meals and eat for the next meal. So that you don't need to snack in between. We want to let the stomach do its work and the digestive system to do its work, and the stomach to get a little bit growly and ready for that next meal. If we're constantly grazing and snacking, it's not going to be the best thing for an overall strong digestion. Plus it elevates blood sugar levels and the whole 9 yards. So let's take this to the next step and look at not just diet, but how we can cleanse that digestive tract. So springtime is a great time to do a little bit of cleansing. We don't want to do harsh and abrasive cleanses. We keep it simple and we honor the body. So we don't want to strip everything away, but we want to do a gentle cleanse. There's a few ways that you can do this according to Ayurveda. You could do a mono diet. So the dish that Ayurveda uses for mono diets is khichdi. And you can Google khichdi and find various recipes. You keep it really simple. It's mung bean based with basmati or long rice and some herbs. And you would have this as a mono diet. So it's all that you eat in your meal 3 times a day for a period of maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe over a weekend. And this is going to help to clear out some of the sludge that's built up in your digestive tract over the winter months, the slower months, right? So that's one thing that you could do. You could look at using psyllium husk as a gentle cleanse, a gentle scraping, and you can get these at your health food store. And again, you do this for a period of a number of days, and this will help again to get rid of buildup in the digestive tract. Ayurveda also has a wonderful compound called triphala, which you may be able to find at your health food store. And triphala is a combination of 3 berries. It's an ancient recipe, really. And again, it's going to give you a gentle cleansing. When you're doing this work, you want to make sure you remain hydrated. So Ayurveda would recommend that you sip hot water throughout the day. Just a few little sips here and there, but keep it constant. And then just rehydrating with room temperature water as well. Before your meal, if you hydrate before the meal, take a glass of water and drink it before the meal. This will actually give your digestive tract some good lubrication. The other thing you may want to think about is some intermittent fasting. And this can be done pretty easily. We would recommend an evening fast. So you have your breakfast, you have your large lunch, and then that's it until the next morning. So you give your body this opportunity to burn off some of the fats that are in there accumulating and that we need to reduce, right? So intermittent fasting, you could do that a couple of times a week. That's my mode right now, and I find that really, really helpful. So these are things that you can look at in terms of, again, a little spring forward, a little shift. There are also some lifestyle things that I'm going to propose. And the first one that's really, really highly recommended is to reconnect with the circadian rhythms, with the flow of nature and the sunrise and the sunset. What does that mean? Well, doing your best to get to bed around 10:30, and to be asleep during that time between 10 and 2, ideally 10:30-ish, a little bit, pushing it a little bit. Why? Because this is when we want that fire of pitta to be doing its deeper digesting, the metabolizing of your body and your life. And then getting up at sunrise, so 6-ish, getting up a little bit before the sun. This will shift your energy considerably. And Ayurveda recommends this as the best weight loss regime. So not a bunch of fad diets and not a bunch of restrictions per se, eating in a balanced way, eating your 3 meals, lightest in the evening, largest at lunch, and not snacking, and finding yourself in this rhythm of sleep and waking patterns will be tremendously impactful for you. The other thing you can, and I would say should be doing, is when you get up, you clean your mouth, you scrape your tongue, drink some warm water with lemon ideally, and then eliminate. And then get to your yoga mat and do a little bit of asana. If you're not an asana, yoga asana kind of person, do a little bit of movement, whatever that's like for you, whatever you enjoy. And then some breath work. You can keep it simple. And then meditation, so sitting in stillness. And if you're not sure, well, what do I meditate on? You can just silently repeat the sound Om. Keep it simple. And if you start your day this way with this little bit of self-care on a daily basis, and again, it doesn't need to be super long, but that's how you start the day and that's how you set the tone. You spring into your day with this beautiful energy. The other thing that I would suggest on that self-care mode is have some kind of self-care regime, whatever that looks like for you. It could look like going out for a walk after you eat your lunch, right? Just getting out there rather than sitting and letting that digestion get heavy. Go for a walk and make that part of your habit, and you will find you will feel much more energized just generally, right? So that, or maybe on the weekend you have a really lovely self-care regime. Myself, I like to make my yoga practices a little bit longer on the weekends if I don't have any commitments. More time in asana, more time in pranayama, and more time in meditation. To me, that's the best self-care I can give myself. I also like doing face moisturizing masks and things like that. Things that I wouldn't do during the week. So have some self-care, because that's so important. If you look after yourself, then you're going to be more inclined to look after others too. So these are just some ideas about springing forward and using this time, a little bit of reflection and making some shifts. One other thing I would suggest, if you don't already do it, is get in the habit of journaling. Journaling can be a really powerful way for you to unburden yourself of some of the stuff you may be carrying and you're not necessarily conscious of, right? But when we start doing our writing, and when you journal, you write from a free-flowing point of view. You're not editing, you're not pausing and stopping, you're just letting yourself write. Set a timer, 10, 15 minutes. You'll be amazed at what comes through. Very healing. So that's the last thing I'm going to suggest. These are some ideas. I encourage you to consider them And maybe you already have some of your own that you just needed this little nudge to move into. So take care, enjoy Springing Forward, and I look forward to seeing you in the next chat. If you haven't already signed up for my newsletter, you can do that on the website. You can leave your comments on the message board below where you're seeing this. Take care.